What's up, everybody? Cole Sands here. This is the fish report for December 19th, 2022. Let's get into this week's report. So this week's report is brought to you by Yozuri and Hardcore, one of my awesome hard bait sponsors, and it's also brought to you by Fishco. Fishco is a really cool soft plastics company. It started in this last year, so it's a new company, and I'm excited because we've been working on some new bait ideas that will be coming out within the next couple months. So y'all be sure to check them out at fishgofishing.com. I got some really cool stuff coming out. They already make some really great stuff as well. So y'all be sure to check them out, support these companies that support me, and I appreciate y'all a ton. So yeah, I apologize. I know y'all haven't heard from me in a couple months, or probably a few months now. Kind of got towards the end of my open season, and I was just so focused on making the Elite Series that I just kind of put all my time and effort into that. And you know, we were able to do it. I qualified. I'm so excited, man. I'm super blessed to make it. And the past few months have just been kind of crazy trying to get some, some sponsorship deals gathered for next year and making some partnerships with some new companies. And if that's something y'all might be interested in for this upcoming year, I might be able to still have some availability for maybe a sponsorship placement on my boat or my jersey. But especially for the 2024 year, if y'all have a company, or any one of y'all have a company or a business that you want to promote on an international level, the exposure that Bassmaster gets through the fishing, the Elite Series is really pretty phenomenal. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to you can leave a comment, and I'll get you my phone number, or message me on Facebook. I got a new website now too. It's colesandsfishing.com. If you're interested in guide trips or booking a guide trip, you can go on there. It shows my availability, and then it's got my phone number on there as well, so you feel free to call or text me if you want to book a trip. But let's get into this week's report. It is December. The fishing has been pretty good lately. Back in November, it got a little bit cold. We had a cold snap, and it's kind of warmed up the last week, and then this upcoming week it looks like it's going to get really cold again, which excites me for a couple things. But going to showcase a few new baits, some stuff that's been working for me really well, and kind of what I expect to happen as this cold front hits. So what's worked great the past week? Probably maybe our number one producer, definitely top two, has been the small Yozuri Rattlin Vibe, and that's the 3/8 ounce size. Something I love to throw in the late fall, early winter, when the bait size is still very small. And it seems like lately, if I'm fishing in creeks and pockets, the small bait size profiles are definitely a lot better. Now if I transition out to the main lake and fish some stuff out there, I can get away with bigger baits, full size 5/8 ounce Yozuri Rattlin Vibe, full size ChatterBait, full size swim baits, Alabama rig, stuff like that. But in the creeks lately, I've been doing better with the smaller stuff. But that's just a sexy shad color, been a really good one. Throwing that on 14-pound T7 fluorocarbon. 610 medium heavy Witch Doctor Tackle Sermon Series rod. This is the half glass, half graphite. I mean, seriously, a phenomenal rattle trap rod, lipless crankbait rod. You will not find a better one on the market. The 610, I throw it a lot for the smaller traps. Usually if I'm throwing a bigger trap, I'll go to a 7.2. You can throw both on either one. It's kind of preference. Gear ratio, I like a 7 or 8 gear ratio. I like a pretty fast gear ratio because I'm kind of yo-yoing this bait. And this past week, all the fish we caught were pretty much 4 foot and less for sure. Most of them I'd say were 2 foot and less. I mean, the fish moved up shallow. Finding any remains of hydrilla, seems like little patches of hydrilla definitely were the target. And if there's a ditch or a little bit of deep water close by, it just made it that much better. But that's definitely been one of the players this past week. And speaking of the same bait, and well, let me show you one more color that really produced last week. That was the Royal Purple Shad, and that small one, that small 3/8. They seem to really get on that one of our guide trips especially. That was the color to throw. And I mean, there's a great line of baits, and they all work. A great line of colors. But that was kind of the sexy shad, and that Royal Purple were kind of our two main colors. I did catch some of the bigger trap, that 5/8 Yozuri Rattlin Vibe. That's always a good color. We had a little bit of rain this past week. Citrus always catches them in some stained water. Did catch some on the red already as well. That's the Matt Rayburn red crawfish. Killer little red bait with a little bit of gold on it. Had a day last week where we caught a few pretty nice fish on that. Same thing, usually with the bigger trap, I go to 16 pound T7 fluorocarbon, so a little bit heavier line. Still don't want to go too much heavier than that because it can, it seems like if you go with lighter line, you get a little bit better action. Same thing, 7.3 to 1 gear ratio. This is the 7.2 medium heavy Witch Doctor Tackle Sermon Series rod. Let's talk about this bait. Like I said, we've had a lot of rain lately. Had a really good day about a week and a half ago now. Throwing that little dude right there. That is the new Yo-Zuri 3DRX flat crank. And what's cool about this thing, it's kind of a thicker bodied flat side. Got a really unique bill shape, almost like a pentagon shape, I guess, or hex shape bill. And that really allows it to deflect off cover great. We had one day last week when I went out there, and I was actually just looking for some fish for some upcoming trips, and the water was chocolate milk. I'm like, man, it's gonna be lucky if I catch anything. But tie that thing on, throwing it in the red one. I was also throwing, I'm trying to think, I don't think I have one right here, but it's like kind of a chartreuse. Actually, I do have one. It's a different crankbait, but this color here, Prism Chartreuse Perch. That was really good in the muddy water as well. And caught them, I mean, in the dirt with this thing, 1 to 3 foot, or really 6 inches to 3 foot. Throwing that on hard cover, like into bluff walls, little riprap banks, stuff like that. That bait is a killer. And what was really cool about this bait, when I first got it, I thought this is going to be a super tight wobbling flat side. It's going to be really good when it's cold. But I'm telling you, this is going to be my new favorite muddy water crankbait. And the reason is this thing really kicks back and forth, and the way it deflects with that shaped bill, I was very, very impressed with it and how well it performed in that muddy water. And I mean, when I'm talking about mud, I mean chocolate milk. And caught a lot of fish, caught some big ones on it. And for that setup, I'm throwing a Sermon Series rod again, because like I said, with that half graphite, half glass, you got a great tip, and it's still really strong. This is a medium action rod, so you got a really good tip on this. That's also my jerkbait rod. That's a 610. That's the same Sermon Series rod from Witch Doctor. And on the reel, usually if I'm cranking, I'll go like to a 6.4 to 1. 12 pound Yo-Zuri T7 fluorocarbon. Could have went a little bit heavier, the water was so muddy, but kind of 12 pounds, kind of my go-to when it comes to cranking up shallow. And that's something always when you get them winter rains, that's something you can always do, it seems like, and catch fish. See what's next. Caught some good fish this past week. Like I said, there's kind of been a grass bite going on. Throwing a chatterbait, and the grass is still actually really thick in some places, and I've been throwing this full-size chatterbait more on main lake grass flats. It seems like 3 to 7 foot's probably about the deepest grass we found. And didn't catch a whole lot of numbers per se doing this, but caught some, the average size was a 3 to 3+ pounder. They were good fish. And throwing that on the 7.2 medium heavy Witch Doctor Tackle Sermon Series rod. As you can tell, I love these rods. Got this on a 6.6 to 1 gear ratio. You can get to a 7. With the chatterbait, you usually don't have to go super fast. Now if they are knocking slacking it and really running at you, I will go up to definitely a 7 then. But I actually got this on 20 pound T7 fluorocarbon. I usually throw a 16 with it, but the grass has been so thick lately, I beefed it up to 20. I just can rip it through the grass a little bit better, I feel like. And throw in just a 1/2 ounce jackhammer. I think that's a clear water shad color. And probably shouldn't even show you this too good, but I'll just give you a little sneak peek. It's a little Fishco trailer we're working on for a chatterbait. It's a prototype, and I'm excited about this one. It's gonna have kind of the shape of a more like a shad shape, but with the tail of kind of like a kicking worm. So get you one last glance at it. That's something we'll have out soon. But man, it's been catching the full out of them. So I'm excited to have that one out within the next few months. And I'll be sure to let everybody know when it's available, because that is a fish catcher. What's cool about it, you can reel at chatterbait and you stop it, and it's still kicking on the way down, which a lot of chatterbait trailers don't do that. Another bait, when the cold snap happened about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, man, this was awesome. And that was that Diamond Baits Alabama rig. And I know y'all heard me talk about it some last year, but man, when it comes to Alabama rig fishing, I have not found a there goes a rod. I have not found a better Alabama rig. And something in the wintertime. If you're going to Lake Chickamauga, you always have to have tied on. I've been doing best lately with the 3.5-inch tightwad Diamond Baits Alabama rig. It's a really compact rig. What I like about this size is, man, you really throw it around some grass lines, and really almost throw it like a spinnerbait a lot of times. And you can throw it around some laydowns. And I've been throwing that on a 20-pound T7 fluorocarbon. For the rod setup, I got on a 7.6 heavy Shaman series, which Dr. Tackle rod. You want to throw a bigger rod with it. Gear ratio, as far as the reel goes, like a 6.4 to 1. This might be a 7.1 to 1. It's a 7.3 to 1 actually. But you know, usually 6.4 to 1's plenty. But man, this has been catching a lot of fish. When that cold snap hit, it was really good. Then it warmed up. The fish kind of moved so shallow that it seemed like they were almost too shallow for an Alabama rig. But as this cold snap hits next week, and it's supposed to get really, really cold by the end of it, so I'm actually really excited about that. The fish are going to back off to that more like 3 to 10 foot range, which is like where this thing really shines. So I'm super excited about that cold front deal hitting. And as far as the swimmers go, I've actually been experimenting a lot, and that's why this one has so many different swimmers on it. But the OG swimmer from Fishco has been a killer. Been catching them really good. And what I like about this one compared to other swim baits is that's a blue gizzard color. You can just see how natural that is. So that's a really cool color design. This has also been a really good one. It's actually, I think, the same exact color. That's the Slim Swimmer from Fishco. And a lot of times in the middle I will put a like a chartreuse or a white one on, but lately the water's been so clear that I've just kept it really natural. And then the dummy swimmers, usually the dummy swimmers, I don't think it matters. And like I said, I've been experimenting a lot with this just because I like, this time of year, I really like to just throw a lot of different stuff, see what's working the best. And like, I'm not scared to put 2 or 3 different swim baits or a couple different swim bait heads on my Alabama rig just to see which one they eat the most. And that'll kind of usually tell you, you know, which one's the most productive. So lately been doing really well. I'd say it's about 50-50, doing just as good in the slim swimmer. You can tell that one's been chewed up pretty good, as I have the OG swimmer from Fishco. But I got to show you this new hook. So Diamond Baits, like I said, they make an awesome Alabama rig. It lasts forever. They got a really cool swivel design, so when you're putting these swim baits on, a lot of people, it takes them a while to get used to it, but it's super simple. So you know, you're out there, it's wintertime, it's super cold, you got these cool little snaps right here, and you don't want to take your gloves off to unsnap and all that. All you have to do, if you can get the eye of that hook started, just put it right there, twist it around one time, there you go. I've never had it come off, and I've got a lot of big fish on this Alabama rig, so that's been really cool. And he actually just came out with a hook as well, just for Alabama rig fishing, which I think this is kind of something that's been missing in the market as well. And you got this really cool design head, and what I like about it, I'm gonna get a bigger one for you so you can really see, but it's got a sickle shaped hook, and it's a big hook too. It's a beefy hook, which is perfect for Alabama rig fishing. So with that design right there, that shape, man, you hook one on this thing, I ain't lost one yet, knock on wood, with it, but you hook one on that hook right there, I don't think you're gonna lose it. Got a screw lock on it. Comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes. That's the 1/8 ounce. I think it's the 1/8 ounce 2-aught for that one. I've been throwing on my Alabama rig with the smaller swim baits. But got a really cool design. That head design, there's a lot of little curves on it, which what I've noticed, I've been running that one in my middle lately and just a couple traditional, just kind of standard jig heads on the edge. That one in the middle has been bit 10 to 1. And I think the reason is when you swim this thing, this one right here with all them little curved edges has a really unique wobble, where these other ones it's kind of just a straight swim, but with this one it's almost a roll and a wobble. So it's a really cool swim bait head. They come in packs of, I think they come in packs of 3 and 5. If you're in Tennessee like I am, you can only throw 3 hooks. So I think in that pack it comes with 3 hooks and 2 screw locks actually. So I mean, it's designed for the Alabama rig fishermen. You can get those on diamondbaits.com. But yeah, super cool design. I'm excited about that hook, and it's something that I think will really play in this next week. Excuse me, yeah, and this next week as it really gets colder, because them fish are going to back out a little bit. Other baits you might see coming to play are going to be that jerk bait. This is my go-to jerk bait usually. That's the Go Sexy Shad. Yozuri 110, and if the fish are a little bit deeper, I'll go to the 110 plus. Same jerk bait, just a little bit longer bill, you can get it down there about 10 feet if you need to. So I could, you know, definitely see that playing as well. And then last but definitely not least, something that we all know works in Chickamauga now, just a little swim bait. Been throwing that Diamond Baits Alabama rig head, throwing this on an 1/8 ounce, something that works really good up shallow. Throwing a little 3-inch swim bait on it. Been throwing a Kitech a little bit, but mainly been throwing that Fishco, that blue gizzard color. And Tennessee shad has also been a really good color that Fishco has produced and has been really, really well, worked really well lately. But as far as the setup goes on this, 10-pound Yozuri braid to a 8 or 10 pound Yozuri T7 fluorocarbon leader. I've been throwing this on a Shaman series witch doctor tackle rod. I like a 7.2 medium action rod for this. The key with this, throwing it shallow, throwing it deep some as well. By deep I mean like 8 or 9, 10 foot. But if you're fishing it that deep, you gotta throw it out there and just, I mean, kind of creep it. Up shallow, just keeping it kind of a constant retrieve. Wait for the fish to load up on it before you pull into them. And let the swim bait do all the work for you. Throw it out there. You don't need to be popping it or doing a whole lot of stuff to it for it to work. That's just something that always seems to get bit out here, especially if you're fishing the low end of the lake right now. The fish are definitely on small bait in a lot of areas, and you need to have that small profile, kind of like that you have on the 3/8 Yozuri Rattlin Vibe, and you also have it on this small, you know, 3-inch or 2.8-inch Fishco swim bait. But that's pretty much been it. You know, like I said, I can see the jerk bait bite playing a little bit next week, but when it comes to wintertime fishing, that's about, you know, the 6 or 7 baits I'll throw. If you're fishing grass, you got to have that Rattlin Vibe and a ChatterBait. That's your, you know, kind of my 2 main baits. Alabama rig can also be exceptional in grass as long as you can keep it above it. And then, you know, a jerk bait could definitely play. Alabama rig is really going to play as it gets colder. And if we have some of the muddy rains come again, that little flat side, man, it's a fish catcher. Y'all be sure to buy a couple of those, because I wouldn't steer you wrong when it comes to that. They catch some fish. But that's it for this week's report, guys. I appreciate y'all subscribing to my channel. Y'all have said a lot of prayers for me as I've tried to qualify for the Elite Series, and I appreciate all the support I've had from y'all. So thank y'all a ton, and I'll catch y'all next time.